Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking Cardboard. In this episode, we are going to be talking about some God tier characters, some new ones that are about to come out. We're really excited. We're glad you're joining us. Thank you for joining us for this review-ish video. As always, if you like what you see, hit that button below, subscribe, leave a comment. As always, I'm Jerch. To my right, we've got John. To my left, we've got Corey. So Corey, why are we making this video on God tier if we already reviewed it?
Well, we've been in contact with the publisher, Steamforge Games. They're out of the UK. They were generous enough to reach out to us, send us an email, and send us a brand new character called Jaak. And we got a chance to play him in their last game of God tier and had a lot of fun with it. And we're just here to kind of talk about that, along with how Jaak compares with some of the rest of the heroes that we played.
So this is not our first impressions of God tier or our overall review. If you want that video, just click the link below and you'll get to that video. But John, when we brought this game to the table, you're the one that ended up kind of controlling Jaak. What were your impressions? How did Jaak play?
Not gonna lie, I think I learned a lot more of what not to do with Jaak during my first playthrough, but I really did see the potential of what he's out there to do. Like, his special abilities is very much sticks to the blue theme of support, and his name is Jaak, the Dubious Alchemist. So what he's doing is like alchemical things and trying to manipulate the battlefield. Really, his main ability is that he can make use of his cauldron cronies to throw a claim flag out from further back behind your own lines. And the cronies can also manipulate, once you have a flag out, they can move your flags around, which is something that I don't think any hero has ever been able to do before. Which maybe that prevents it from getting stomped on. I don't really know. Like I said, I didn't get to take full advantage of it, but I know what I'd do differently to do that. His ultimate didn't really get used in this game either. It allows you to heal wounds from other heroes and large base minions within a certain range. And that also feels really powerful, but unfortunately we just didn't pair him well with other heroes so that we had some frontliners taking damage. It was more of everyone he was around was either a small minion that would die in one hit, or
It was the archers.
Yeah, the archers. So the hero wasn't getting attacked because they were already staying behind. Our frontline kind of guy, Blackjaw, was over on the other flank, just doing a diverting action. So Jaak couldn't get over there and heal him, which kind of disappointing. But I see the potential now and how to better make use of Jaak and his cronies in the future.
And with Jaak, this is the first champion ever in the lineup of all champions where a champion can heal another champion. Like John said, I think this is the very first introduction to that mechanism, which seemingly could be very powerful.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, and then like you said, using your cauldron cronies as a conduit to place the flag, you can kind of sit back, heal people, use them to place the flag from afar. It just seems like a couple of his abilities are very new to the style of God tier.
Yep.
And the one thing that really stuck out for me, being on the same side of the table as Jaak, is the artwork for those cauldron cronies. That's really good stuff.
Yes.
Really cool. Like they're kind of like holding these huge pots and like they're kind of tipping over for some of them. It was immersive, and I liked those little miniatures with it. It was really cool.
Yeah, the detail is exquisite. The miniatures are great quality, heavy plastic.
Yep.
The molds are very well done, like with the all God tier figures, and that kind of witch Halloween alchemist type theme is really cool to be added into the God tier universe. So
yeah, and this was my first time playing God tier, so I was all new to the whole experience. When we've done kind of skirmish type games before, I kind of lose interest if it's taking a lot of tactical moving things around, a lot of time to get set up for not a lot of payoff. This was a blast. Like I loved it. I loved our setting up each of the characters. There's only a few things you can really do, so it's not overwhelming. It's not like you can get too far down a rabbit hole and not be able to come back from it. we started off to a really strong lead. I loved playing as the archers, Lorsan, and then the archers trio, like sitting back and being able to start doing some damage and really pinging damage and then doing a lot that was cascading. And I used her ultimate ability at just the right time to kill one of the enemy champions at the start of a round, so then we were able to get 4 points in that tug of war to really help get us off to a good start. I thought it was really fun. It was easy to pick up and learn, and so this was a blast. I loved this game.
Yeah, the game moves along at a pretty good clip once you get going. The streamlined gameplay to this is really well done. It's a hex board instead of having to use like a tape measure or a ruler to measure out your movement and that sort of thing. So you know exactly how far you can move or how far you can shoot. There's not a whole lot of ranged characters in the game, so Jurch was one of the few or one of the only champions that actually has range. So there's not a whole lot to deal with. But then again, having said that, all the champions feel very unique, very different to their style, and all the colors mean something different too.
Yeah, and that's one thing unique to this game we played. So we were doing 2 players on each side, each controlling 2 heroes. So we had 4 heroes on the board, and I think both of us, if I remember right, we all kind of went with the, okay, if we're having 4 heroes out, let's throw out 1 hero of each color. Theoretically, that should be good, as you're getting the red guys that are good at killing champions. You've got yellow that's good at taking out minions. They're the Maelstrom heroes. I can't remember what red's called. They're assault heroes, maybe?
I don't remember.
That sounds right.
So then you have blue that is good at getting the flag out, and you get bonus points if it sticks around to the end of the end phase. And then you've also got green that's also good at kind of support and getting the flag out, and they also get bonus points when they plant the flag. So I think it worked out really well having one of each color, but now seeing all of this in action, you know, there may be certain advantages to like playing with Jaak and giving him some more frontline friends to kind of really make use of his heal and his ability to throw flags up from the back. But I don't know. It's something where mixing and matching the heroes is going to be quite the experience, and there's a lot of different combinations. There's, what, like 14, 15 different heroes now?
At least now.
So,
And I think building strategy from that is thinking, well, what other heroes or factions would pair well with this? Is that's going to get my gears turning. That in each of these, there's not a whole lot of things that new stuff that come to the table. It's only, you know, your few minis and then a couple of cards with it. So it's easy to transport and integrate that into your experience, and then start to kind of mix and match and come up with combinations that are really going to work well together. Or you could just kind of throw caution to the wind and randomly pick some that you'd want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And it's got that very small scale skirmish feel. So it's very tight, fast, aggressive. It's not like a big overarching army world warfare type deal. It's very low, zoomed in, very fast paced, and I think what really plays well and is kind of unique into this game too is the whole ladder system. It's the first team to 5 points, and each round the points start going up from round 1, 2, and 3, and then back down in rounds 4 and 5. So it's got that kind of scaling mechanic to it. But what did you think of like playing with that ladder system, trying to win each round?
I loved that because we were able to get out to an early lead, but then also not try to make this a sprint, that we could hold back on some of our powers or moving things into place to set it up for the next round, and like strategically picking off one of the champions. Is you didn't do it when you first were able. You waited till it was the start of the round to maximize the benefit you got from that.
Right.
Also leading into the tug of war of who won each round. Like I thought that's a really cool mechanism as well, where you're able to have not just you're getting points around a track, but it's a back and forth, and it's a direct kind of push and pull. I thought that was really cool, and a great way to feel when momentum was swinging or when you felt like you were really in control. I loved that.
Yeah, it felt like a 7-game series and a playoff series.
It did.
It really did. Like, you don't have to win every game, but you need to win the majority and at the right time, and, you know, home ice or home field advantage versus when you don't. It definitely has that playoff feel to it. And again, touching on the different color system, yeah, it's really cool how that works, but you also can bring all 4 heroes that are red to the table, all 4 that are green. I mean, you can really do whatever you want. It would be fun just honestly to take like a blind toss at it and see what boxes land on the table, and that's who you have to play with. You can just do a blind draft or a full-on...
Legal disclaimer, don't toss any boxes in the air. Don't toss any boxes in the air.
There are sharp corners.
But my point is that you don't have to... Some games, they force you into buying certain things for your team or for your army to make it at its full capacity. Mm-hmm. And I think this game is very customizable, where you can just kind of play off of theme or who you like the artwork for best and just try to get better at strategizing with those characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be fantastic, is trying to come up with good pairings or good groups of 4 if you were bringing this to a more structured type situation, or if we ever were getting super competitive into this, that we would each have our 2 that we'd want to bring in or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's what is going to make this game so replayable and so dynamic, is the ways that things fit together, and then the ways that it can just happen to play out on the field.
Yeah, the replayability in this game is just so great with the different scenarios in the book too. It starts off with the god tiers in different locations, and the god tiers are being manipulated in different ways at the end of each round. And also the game length to this game can be scalable as well, because the full tournament feel is 4 champions versus 4 champions, and you can split that on 2v2 or 1v1, however you want. But you can also just do 1 champion versus 1 champion, or 2 champions versus 2 champions, and really scale back the length of the gameplay if you don't have as long to play during that specific night. So that's cool too.
Yeah, so this game seems really dynamic. It's growing. And if you are a fan of Godtear already and you're looking to find Jaak at your friendly local game store, when can we expect that to be released?
Jaak is being released this year, June 24th. So it's coming up in about a month. You can find it, I think, everywhere. So we were just lucky enough to get it a little bit early to get it to the table and kind of review it for you all. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely go out, check it out at your local game store or online retailer. Definitely a fun one that I think we'll keep bringing to the table.
I'll say, based on what I've seen, I definitely think this is going to be a very high tier blue support character.
Yeah.
It seemed powerful. I mean, the dwarves, Arnie, I think he is, or something. And the troll guy that regenerates is more of a bruiser type support. The dwarf also is kind of a hold the line, frontline support. And this kind of brings something different, where this is a true support character that's doing its thing from the back lines.
Yeah.
And really trying to play into the flag planting kind of overall objective of the game.
Yep.
So it really seems like all of us here at Talking Cardboard are loving this Godtear. It's not even a game. It seems like it's kind of a universe that's building, and all these components that are going into it. We'd especially like to thank Steamforge and James in particular for reaching out to us to give us Jaak and really let us into this game. That this was very appreciated, and we're very thankful you wanted to include us in this experience. So from all of us here at Talking Cardboard, there may not be any crying in board games, but there certainly are Godtears.